Hello and a very good morning to you. Very, very good morning to you wherever you are in the world. And my name is Phil Griggs. This is the Wednesday Cafe Clairvoyance show, and this is about spirituality and astrology. The show you need to listen to if you want to find out what's going on up there. Find out what's going up there and how it affects us down here, and what the energies are doing at the moment, and exploring how you're feeling, and a fascinating set of topics coming up this morning, which I think will just make you feel, wow, you don't take your eyes off the screen. Yes, it's going to be one of those shows, guys. You're not going to want to take your eyes off, and you'll want to keep your ears open and do the Dumbo bit or mouse bit, whichever your ears are. And yes, that's the way we're going to go. So without further ado, I think it's time to put on a little music and welcome in all the listeners as you guys start piling in, and then introduced by wonderful, 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 regular but super special guest, Guiomar. Okay, so on this morning's show, we'll be talking, don't be the opposite of your sign. Now, we're going to go into this in a little while. You'll probably go, what do you mean, don't be the opposite of your sign here? Because when we're running forwards and we're powering in life and we feel fantastic, we're being, yes, ourselves, but we're also being our sign. Sound good? Sound good? But then every now and then, life goes a bit funny, and then sometimes we take on habits, or we take on personalities within ourselves here, which are sometimes deep inside us, and sometimes we then take on something we really don't want, which is the opposite side. And we're going to talk about this morning in great detail, plus other subjects. Your eyes are just going to be, wow. Well, keep this going, keep this going. So, guys, this is what we ask you to do. Please share the show. If you belong to any groups, anything like this here, please share the show. If you like the show that much, please tell people about it and let people know what's going on. Yes, okay, because that's what helps promote this show, and especially with this morning show. Okay, also later on during the show there, we've got your live mini readings, and we need your astrology details. We may not be able to get around to everybody this morning, but if you'd like to send in your date of birth, a question and a favourite colour, then guys, we're going to get back to you with a live mini reading. In the meantime, here we are. It is the 2nd of September. Autumn's on its way. Just down the road is Halloween. Then a bit further, you got it right. Yes, it's Guy Fawkes, if you're English. And then just down the road a little bit further is Christmas. Isn't that a lovely thought to get used to? There you go. I'm getting ready for Christmas. Anyway, little shout out this morning. Let's give a shout out to Mimis Crew over there in Javier. They're wonderful hairdressers. And let's give a little shout to Susanna. She's come on this morning. Good morning, Susanna. From the world, good morning to you. And also, let's give a shout out to Paul. Wonderful Paul there. Let's give a little shout out to you as well, sir. And also, let's give a little shout out to the holistic, physical, emotional and spiritual well-being in Javier. That's it. Healing in Javier group. That's it. I just completely cut myself off there. Never mind. There I am. Yeah. And a little shout out to those guys this morning. And to all you other wonderful, wonderful people out there who enjoy watching this show here, big morning welcome to you. And I think that, what should we do now? Oh, yes, let's go and do a little bit of this. And then I think we need to get Guiomar on, because we've got a fascinating show this morning and we want you guys to get the best out of this. Get yourselves by the keyboard and ready, because you're going to go, why? So you're going to have questions. You guys are going to have questions. I can tell you now. You're going to look at this going, oh my God, I want to write in. I want to know more about this. So I think that's what we're going to ask you guys to do. Bernadette, very good morning to you. Katrina, good morning to you too. And Susanna and Paul and to Sarah, very good morning. In fact, Sarah wrote in actually, and she said here, could you show this picture? Because this proves that the world is flat. It does, because it proves the world is flat, because we've got a photograph here here we go. See, can you see that bit there? We've got a straight rainbow. That proves the world is flat, because if it was curved, it would be round, but it's not. If you can see it there, it's a straight line. There you go. It's where scientific evidence that the world is flat. Happy? Good. That's good, isn't it? Anyway, so you find out all sorts of information on the show, don't you? Yes. Some of it's true. Some of it's a bit wonky here and there, but there you go. Never mind. Anyway, so I think it's, let's do a little bit of this. Well, it's nice to put that little banner up there saying that we get around the world a little bit. But Chelsea says good morning. But I'm looking at the time here. It's 11 o'clock in the UK. You must be about 4 o'clock in the morning in the USA. Anyway, good morning to you. So if you're feeling a little bit like this and you want to try and get up and get going, then Chelsea, this is just for you. That's it. Get up with the morning rooster and away you get. What's going on here, guys? You all up to crazy hours. You guys are in not Las Vegas, San Diego area, California. You guys are up having a night party. Great to see you, guys. You're going to watch this show. You'll be here for at least another hour, and then you're not going to be able to go back to bed because your mind's going to be going active, because great subject matter coming up here, and I'm sure it's 2 a.m. Okay, all right. You girls are allowed to stay up for at least another hour. You have our permission, okay? Good. Make it 2. Anyway, so without further ado, I think it's about time I brought on my very, very, very special guest. And just to give a little round of applause as she comes in here, this is the wonderful Guiomar, and this is the wonderful Wednesday Spiritual Astrology Show. So a little bit of a round of applause there. And good morning.
Hello. How are you?
How are you? I'm very, very well, thank you. I'm just enlarging your name down here. I shrunk it down there so I didn't have to go and write it in again. There you go. You're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. There you go. So here we go. We're talking this morning here about astrology. We're talking about being the opposite sign. When we're in our mojo, we're powerful, and when we're being an Aries and we're driving forwards, fantastic. Then all of a sudden we get the negative of the opposite sign. So there, okay. I know. Hang on. I haven't finished yet. Don't shake your head yet. I haven't finished. Okay. So that would be Libra, and then we take the sign before that, which is Virgo. So then we become a negative Virgo. Why are we? What's going on here at the moment? And this is a great subject matter. Before we get into this, though, we were just discussing a little bit about the climate we're going through.
Oh, yeah, it's heavy, big time.
Yes.
And like guilt and blame are really big in the energies. And guilt and blame are basically, in essence, ego's poop. And we want to clear out that poop because we pooped it a long time ago, and it's just there. And
that's delicate language this morning. Poop.
It's
in
poop.
other words, shit.
Yes, because the universal principle: in comes the light, out comes the poop, or out comes the poop, in comes the light. So we want light to come in, poop's got to come out. And when poop comes out, like have you guys had like septic tanks that overflow and all that stuff? It's gonna smell, it's gonna be yucky, but that's your chance to clear it all out.
Okay, this sounds good. Let's clear that crap out. Yeah.
Everything is really very simple. So that's why I like to use this kind of language, because it's not about making it complicated or anything. It's simple. So basically, for ego to exist, immature ego, because we want it to be mature, it poops all the time, and it creates this energetic layer that doesn't allow you to jump to the next level of consciousness.
Okay.
So we have to encounter, face, or have some sort of event in our life that makes us face with a feeling of guilt, of get somebody blame you for something, and that's your opportunity to clear that out. What happens that since we don't understand this dynamic, what we usually tend to do is like fight back, blame somebody, talk to somebody else about look how bad that person is. And right now it's not about that. So if you're encountering these days any situation, it doesn't matter if it already happened, just through it. If it already happened like a few days ago, go through it in your mind and rewrite it, okay, according to what I'm going to say now. So basically, any situation that makes you feel guilty, it's your own ego's poop that you have a chance to clear it. So don't rationalize it. Don't think about it. Don't just spin around in your head. Just go like, wow, this is poop. And you feel in your body the impact of that guilt, and feel in your body the emotion associated with that. For example, in my case, the emotion would be abuse.
Okay.
Okay, so this doesn't mean I've suffered, like, when I was a kid, and in some occasions I've suffered some sorts of abuse by other kids, like bullying and stuff like that. I've suffered, and at work, not sexual abuse, but just bullying, that type of abuse,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So abuse is a very, very wide term. It could be many types of abuse, but in essence, it's the same type of energy. So as I was saying, in my case, it's the energy of abuse. So suddenly there's a situation that impacts my body, that makes me feel guilty, and the other energy associated to that, because I like to speak in energies because they're neutral. If we start saying, oh, because this person did this and said that, then it's not neutral anymore, and we can't clear it.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to talk about it neutral. So these energies impact us, and in my case, it's abuse. So I just feel it and just accept it and let it go. And then take care of my body, take care of myself, nurture myself, so my central nervous system and all my body goes back to normal. Okay?
Very interesting. Lovely, interesting subject matter to talk about this morning, and to try to help people through times they go through with guilt, with that feeling of harassment, with its bullying, with its hate, with all these different emotions we sometimes feel in our lives here. And it's sometimes, I understand this is sometimes, it's like, it's something that sometimes catches you at your flank. It's like it's behind you. It's like something just whack. I didn't see that coming. You're not prepared for it. It's not somebody says, oh, I can see that emotion coming. There it is. No, you just don't. It doesn't happen like that, does it? It's just smack, like you say, or crack. It gets you at your back here. Yes.
So if you allow me to get a little bit woohoo, I hope the viewers are able to jump on board.
Do we want woohoo, guys? Do we want woohoo? Give us a thumbs up and hearts if you guys want woohoo. They're going to come up in a minute.
Yeah. So just to go a little bit woohoo, but it's difficult when you start explaining things that are more immaterial, more energetic. It's almost inevitable to go a little bit woohoo to try. Oh, there are the hearts and thumbs up. Okay, let's go.
Good.
It's kind of difficult to put it into words, so bear with me, right? So basically, let's understand. For example, we have a cloudy day here today. It's raining, so we can say that the Earth has an atmosphere, an energetic atmosphere formed by emotions that are trapped, like in cloud-like forms. Okay, that would be like the collective consciousness. So the collective consciousness can be viewed as a cloud. And there are many aspects and facets to the collective consciousness. Some are very nice and luminous, like knowledge and angels and all that stuff. And some is like apparently not so nice, because it's more like demons and low emotions and grief and guilt and all that stuff, right? So we have dark clouds and we have light clouds in our energetic atmosphere. And this is absolutely normal. It's just the way that everything recycles itself. Amongst those dark clouds, we also have, for example, spirits. Spirits could be nicer spirits. There are like lighter clouds, or they could be darker spirits, and it's all fine. But the more a cloud builds up, because people are feeding into it and they're feeding it, that cloud, repeating the same emotion, that cloud goes denser and denser and denser and ends up turning up into a thought form. So a thought form has like an inertia of its own, and it's like a little animal that tries to feed and tries to grow, like everything that's alive. So this doesn't mean it's bad, it's good, it just is. It's just how things work, you know, they just grow and develop and feed and try to grow more, and that's it. It's just an inertia. So this is what we call demons.
Yeah.
So those dark clouds, basically demons are created by our own emotions. So every time you repeat over and over with an obsession and emotion, you create this dark cloud. And that dark cloud feeds off all the people that are doing the same emotion, right? But what do we need to make a leap in consciousness? We need to let go of the dark cloud. We need to stop feeding the dark clouds. That way they clear, and then your consciousness, as if it were the sun, can connect with you. Otherwise, your consciousness is like at the other side of the clouds. That would be your sun. If your consciousness is at the other side, then you can't see life from a conscious perspective. So we need to clear the clouds, right? So right now, we're at a point where it's very important. It's like very active, a very thick cloud that has to do with guilt and with very heavy and low emotions. What makes emotions and energies very heavy and low? Repetition. The fact that they're old. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just old. And what life wants is for new stuff to come in and for old stuff to go out. That's why it's shit. That's why it's poop. Basically, this is how our bodies work too. We get put in food, we process it, and we poop it out. We're not going to keep it in all the time.
Yep.
Life works the same way. In comes the light, you experience things with that new light, and then you poop it out. But what do human beings do with their immature ego? And this is nobody's fault. This is just part of the ego's formation. It's that we tend to keep it in, and we're like if we were constipated.
Full of poop.
We're full of poop. So we have to let go of that poop. And this is the opportunity we have now. But the thing is, as when you're very constipated and you want to go to the bathroom, what happens? It hurts.
Yes.
It hurts a lot.
Yes. Yes, it does, doesn't it? And I think there's very valid points to bring up, because it's almost like it hurts because you're letting go of something which you've been holding on to, and then you've got a reaction here says, but I'm so used to that as a pattern, as you say, by repetition, that I don't want to let it go. But really here it's, once it's out, as we know, it's like, oh my goodness, I feel so much better.
Exactly. And this is, and a pattern that you repeat is, for example, I'll talk about mine, guilt and abuse, which is a very common pattern. So I receive a message on a social network of somebody like making like a sort of accusation that I'm getting into personal stuff, right?
Okay.
And I mean, all my job is personal stuff because all I talk is about personal stuff. Anyway, so it's not really the message nor the messenger that matters. This is very, very important. The message and the messenger at that point is just being inhabited for us by that collective consciousness.
Okay.
So it's not the messenger's fault. It has nothing to do with that. So it's just something that triggers something in me, and immediately it just goes boom, and I get into this pattern where I am the victim of somebody who is accusing me of something, and I feel terribly guilty, and that makes me feel very small.
Yes.
So by this time, because of the awareness I already have, tiny little things create a huge impact in my body, which is what's interesting here. So we want, the more conscious you are, the more you feel, but that's good, because the more you feel, the easier it is to clear at less physical levels. So you just feel the energies, make it go through your body, have the experience, and release it. Okay.
One of the interesting things I find about this, and it's a conversation I had yesterday with one of my clients. She phoned up. She said, "I'm feeling absolutely crap. I feel really bad. Loads of things going on." I said, "Okay, just talk. Just tell me how you feel." And she just said, I said, "Good. How do you feel now?" She said, "I feel better." I said, "Well, there you go. That what you want to do is just talk. Just talk."
Yes, but I think it's very important, because sometimes when we do talk, we can overdo it, and we're just blaming the messenger. So you don't want to blame the messenger. You want to clear your feelings. Mm-hmm. So basically, we're here on Earth, each and every one of us, to do what we really want to do. Yeah. Okay. And if that hurts somebody, that's their problem. So the more honest you are with yourself, and the more you do what you want to do, the less real harm you're going to do to somebody. So I'm not talking about you're going to kill somebody. People who kill other people or who really damage other people, it's because they're not aligned with themselves. So the more you are aligned with yourself, the more whatever you do by being selfish, if it bothers somebody else, it's absolutely their problem. So you have the right to feel how you want to feel, to do what you want to do, to, express yourself how you want to express yourself. If somebody else has an issue with that, of course they have a right to blab it out, but that doesn't mean it's yours.
That's a very valid point I think you're making. I think too much in the past, we were more prone on like, oh, I won't do that then. Or you are conceived as being too selfish or too much up your own street, and you were self-centered and all this bits and pieces. But this is not the case nowadays. 2020 is teaching us to be ourselves, and if people don't like it, then unfortunately there's no space in that particular part of your life for those people to exist, in which case they've got to go and find their own answers.
Exactly.
Yes, but it's not our job to tell them. That's for them to work out themselves.
No. And for me, for example, in this case, it would have been very easy to just blab out against the messenger and blame that person, or tell the person that we have in common, look what's happened. And of course, I'm not going to do any of that because it has nothing to do. If I do any of that, what I'm doing is I'm consolidating. I'm creating a reality, basically.
Yes.
So I can create a conflict if I do that.
Yes.
What really matters is what happened to me, which is what experience did I have. So I had an energetic impact. I recognize this energy because it's not the first time in my life I feel it. The energy is of abuse. As I was saying, I have suffered abuse at work by coworkers, when I was at school, by other children. That kind of abuse and my tendency is to just belittle and to go, oh my God, I did something wrong.
Absolutely.
And guilty. And now it's like, no, I don't care what I did. I did what I did. If somebody has a problem with it, this is another thing. People, when you receive an abusive message or accusation or whatever, again, it's not about the messenger, okay? Very important. Normally it's vague. It's not concise and precise. Because if it's concise and precise, if somebody says it assertively, it's like, hey, look, do you mind taking this off because this makes me feel very uncomfortable because of this, and that? And then you go, well, let me consider it. What bothers you? And we can have a conversation over that.
Yeah.
Anything that is not having a civilized conversation over, you have feelings that has this bothered you, I have feelings, this is how I feel. Anything that is not that, there's no need for you to play on with that.
The interesting bit here is that then you get the people who make generalizations. So you get the ones that make the point, sorry, I find that very offensive. Could you mind if you could take that down? Okay, then you talk about it and you understand what the problem is. But then you've got the other ones who make generalizations. Now, the interesting point here is that when someone makes a generalization, you then take it personally to attack a certain area, although the messenger was sending it as a generalization in the first place. The way you perceive it yourself is taking on, oh God, they're attacking this particular area like they know. They don't know.
They don't know.
You're picking it up.
They don't know. And what really, 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 truly is happening, remember I was talking about those clouds and how they compact and how they turn into a thought form, and that thought form would be a demon. Okay. Yes. What's really, really happening is that demon, via people that they inhabit. How can they inhabit people? When people are worried and in their mind a lot, always thinking what other people are thinking, they're not inhabiting their bodies. So their bodies are free to be taken for a while. It's like a possession. Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. But let's see it as something organic by these demons. No, let's not see it like something woohoo and oh, scary. No. This is organic. This is much more normal than you think. And every time you have a discussion with somebody and that person acts in a way that you would not expect, that's what's happening, basically. Okay?
Yes.
So it's important to understand that this person is being, unbeknownst to that person, he or she is being taken by that demon, and that demon wants to feed off of you. So to feed off of you, it needs to create guilt. So if anything triggers guilt in you, stay firm. make your own decisions. It's like, no, this is what I did, and it's fine. And if I'm entitled to make mistakes if I want to, or if I don't know, and it's not an issue. Nobody has the right to take you out of your center via pushing you energetically out of you through guilt. But this is what the demon that we have created, it's our ego's poop, basically,
Yep.
does. It pushes you out of you, and that's how it feels. It's an impact that takes you out of you.
It takes the steam out of you sometimes, doesn't it? Your vibration just comes, boom, takes,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, the wind out of myself. Gillian Cook writes in, she says, good morning, Gillian. How are you? I hope you're well. She's in the UK. She said, yes, it's your thoughts and feelings that they are true to you. No one has the right to poo-poo them. They are yours. And
Yes.
then she says here, she says, honor yourself. Honor yourself
Exactly.
here. Yes. Now
Exactly.
this is,
What's interesting is that it's not that others are pooping on it, it's that it's your own poop that you have to clear out, and it comes through a messenger.
yes.
So whenever we encounter this type of thing, it's our opportunity to clear that poop.
Yes.
So it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing.
And that is, as we've been discussing over the past 3 to 4 months at least even when we started back in April, is about living through your heart
Yes.
and not living
Exactly.
in your head. Your head over criticizes it and gets all the wrong messages and just replays back what you used to listen to. And yes.
And for me, so you guys get an idea, for example, for me, as I was saying, I'm at this stage, I'm very, very sensitive to energies, and I immediately notice them, so nothing really happens on the outside. So as I said, this is just a comment on a social network, and it creates this impact. It throws me off center so much that for over an hour, my heart is pounding. So
Yes.
I work on myself, I free my memories, I take care of my body, I eat, I drink, I comfort myself. It's not enough. So what I do is and I'm always all the time understanding it's not the messenger's fault, and I don't have to make anybody else than myself responsible for this. But I can look for help. So I call some friends, neutral friends who I know will not feed into the story, and I just express what I'm feeling, and they connect with how I'm feeling and the emotions that are going through me. And then after that, the next day I had an acupuncture session done, and that finally brought it down. So it took me over 2 days to get back to my center. And so you get an idea.
Yes, yes, and I think a lot of people would absolutely agree with you that sometimes it takes more than 2 days. It can take a long, long time. A little image I'd like to drop into this because it really made me think about what this is like sometimes. And it's strange the things we hold on to within ourselves here. And I just think this is a blinded little picture. Yes, the things we hold on to that really we don't really want to hold on to. And why are we holding on to them? Yes, the frog there, if you can't see it, it's a frog holding on to an alligator's tooth, thinking, I'm quite happy, I'm so used to this, holding on to the alligator's tooth. This is a safe place. And maybe it isn't. Maybe it isn't.
Yeah.
So just something there. Yes. So, yes, we're talking this morning about astrology. We're talking about spirituality, but also talking about guilt and demons. If you just joined the show, welcome. I'm Phil Griggs. This is my fantastic colleague, astrologer and psychologist, Guiomar. And we're having a wonderful discussion about these energies here. And if you're thinking about how does this relate to astrology, well, if we are working with this, particular these elements here, then it's life, isn't it? And astrology is life. We're just astrology gives the map of life. It shows you what you are going through. But in your general selves here, when we're feeling, have any of you felt with, for example, have any of you felt that someone said something to you? And you've taken it very personally, but they didn't mean it personally. They didn't mean it personally. They're just giving their opinion in a generalistic form. And you had to work through this. And what was the outcome? For me, you're very open there and saying yourself here that for you it was abuse by the way people were bullying you when you were younger. For me, it was a similar sort of thing because I had a terrible, terrible stutter. And to the point here, I just clammed down. And people look at me nowadays and go, what? You had a stutter? With the amount of words you come out your mouth per minute. My wife would say here, she says, can you stop talking? I'm trying to watch the telly or something. She says, have you finished? Anyway, so, it's something that I work through. And I think we all do work through things. And you find a power somewhere which is within you. It just says here, I'm ready to launch above this, to get above this cloud. So the clouds are below me, and I just look up at the lovely blue sky, the vast blue yonder, and just feel the paradise of life. And if I could put it like that. And I think, guys, if you had to overcome something yourself, because people just say things to you here, and it can harm people. Can harm you
Yeah.
in some direct.
And I think it's important that we don't feed it. We learn not to feed into the story. So the more we feed into the story, which means talking about it, saying, "Oh, look what this person did," or trying to rationalize it, why, or I don't know, trying to be like people think being assertive is telling off the other person. Hey, what you said this to me? That is so rude. All that is validating the story, feeding into the story, and feeding the demons, feeding the thought forms that are created by our own poop. And you're not clearing your poop.
Yep.
So you're not being more conscious. So the less you see it as a story and the more you understand it as energies, the easier it is to clear out and to jump to the next level.
Yes. I think that's a big thing is to I agree with you, is not to blame that person. They're just making you aware of the emotion that you've got there, which sometimes is vague. You don't often see it until someone says something. You go, "Oh God!"
Exactly.
It's not them. It's something you have to clear in yourself. And
exactly, because if you think about it, like people can say whatever they want to say. You know, like remember that phrase, "Sticks and stones might hurt my bone, will hurt my bones, but names will never hurt me."
Yep.
Basically, if somebody isn't hitting you, and even then I would question it. But anyway, if somebody isn't hitting you, if it's just words and it hurts you, it's you. It's your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So you really have to see it from this perspective, because it'll help you evolve. It'll help you clear things out quicker. It's practice. It's not easy. I know it's not easy because the mind wants to blame somebody. But the more you practice it, the easier it gets.
And it's a very interesting, this is a typical, a very topical, interesting this morning, especially with the energies we're going through out there. Very heavy, very slow moving, goodness. Mars is slowing down, so we're trying to move things forwards, and Mars is saying, "I'm sorry, I'm going to bed." And it's got his little nightcap on and his hot chocolate and says, "I'm slowing down for a little while."
Yeah, but there's a T-square with Mars limit in the apex, and then there's Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn in opposition to Venus in Cancer, and making a T-square with Mars. And there's a lot of tension being created there from I want to be free, I want to do what I want to do, but I want to belong. But we have to clear all this poop up, this ego's poop. And it's all there. It's stuck. It's not moving. It's like, come on, guys, let's move this.
Yes, and so we're stuck with it until we get within ourselves to go and clear it. Then it gets easier.
Yes.
Otherwise, it just keeps repeating, unfortunately, and especially through this particular time. And yes, Deborah, the producer, says, yes, it's like walking through treacle. Absolutely. I think it's a very good analogy of this. That when we
What's
hit
treacle?
Treacle is like syrup.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's hard stuff to walk through. Have you tried walking through syrup?
Yeah.
If it's maple syrup, you just want to sit down and eat it.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy here
in
my
pancakes.
Poop eating maple syrup. Oh dear, dear. Anyway, right. Getting carried away with analogies now. Yes, so I think here too what we're expressing this morning, guys, is sticky stuff. Yes, Deborah says sticky stuff, laughing her head off there. And I think it's a thing that we work through ourselves here. And I know some of you guys here probably just watching, just listening, just observing. And with a T-square like this with Mars, because Mars is going to go and slow down. Venus will move on. It'll go on a different journey very soon. It'll go and pop off into Leo and go and light up different things there. People come out with all sorts of funny fashions. I should think of doing all sorts with Venus and Leo. And if we have like big hair like Trump coming up soon, probably. Anyway, but we still got this Mars that's still going to hang around. It's going to go up to a point right at the end of Aries, then just go, I'm going to come back now. It's going to run back over these three planets here of Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter. How would we work through this? What's a way to work through this? That's a good way. That's a brilliant way.
It's patience. Yes. It's just hold on, hold on. It's not time for anything yet. Just hold on. Wait till the end of the year. That's one side. It's observing anger and frustration and using it to define what is old and you don't want anymore and what you do want. So you can write about what you do want and what you don't want. You can write out ideas, sort of plan stuff. This planning stuff doesn't mean nowadays that it's going to be like you planned, but at least your energy is going in that direction because things are not going to manifest yet. I've been saying this for months.
Yes.
It'll more towards the end of the year. But there are times when it gets more. So yeah, old frustrations, old stuff is coming up. You know, during lockdown, at least in our part of the world, we had the lockdown March to May. And we learned like it was so nice to take care of ourselves, to calm down. But then we're back to where we were before, you know, running from one place to another. It's like as if we haven't learned anything. And everybody's like saying, oh, let's see when the world's going to be back to what it was before. It's not. It's not about the world getting back to be what it was before. It's about bringing the rhythm down and living a more sustainable, ecological, and self-orientated life, being more true to yourself, to the people around you, and to the planet. So it's not what it was before. And we kind of forget that. And the more we forget about it, the more people forget about it, the more probable it is that we will have to suffer another lockdown. So really, lockdown will depend on how you're doing your own personal work.
This is fascinating, and I think it really gets down to the nitty-gritty here. When we're saying about bringing the vibration down, one of the things here is that when we're very young children, our vibrational energy level is surprisingly that we're buzzy as anything, running around here everywhere. Our vibration energy level is very low, very low. It resonates on a level, which is why children at a very young age can learn, because they can absorb. You can absorb more information when the energy is low. When your vibration is low, you learn to absorb more. It's easier to learn languages when you're a kiddie than it is when you're at my end of the world, becoming an old chap. Look, I've got a grey hair to show this. Anyway, yes. Anyway, but it's what it's all saying here is that we learn more, we adapt more when our vibration comes down to this level. It's almost like your subconscious becomes more open. Everything slows down. We're not used to this. There's these brakes that are on, getting everything to stop. People who are going to suffer with this are the people who will push against it, because you're like trying to push a wall down. We're going to find a way to push a wall down. Well, great, because as soon as you push that wall down, there'll be another one just beyond it. It's not going to win. However, I think, as you're saying here, if people just slow this down, take on board what it is they need to learn, what they need to let go of, what they need to really bring up, which is sometimes not very nice. Very nice. I sort of associate this sometimes. It sounds disgusting, this, but when you jump out of an airplane with a parachute on your back, I forgot to add that bit, with a parachute on your back, just to add the safety note bit, health and safety. Don't worry, you've got a parachute back. A lot of people find it very traumatic and actually become very sick. Very sick. They get a nausea. But the thing is, when you're sick, it doesn't go anywhere. It just comes down with you. It's just floating. But there is an analogy of, look, I'm feeling like this. You're sick. There's all the crap, all the poop that you don't want. And at some point or another, you're going to find a way to actually say, okay, I'll get over this. I'll deal with this. I'll deal with it.
I won't resist it.
Yes,
basically. I won't resist it.
Yes.
I'll acknowledge it. I'll feel it, but I won't resist it.
And you got a parachute on your back. You're perfectly safe.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's also like what you said about pushing. And there's this, I think it's a liquid or something that has a very particular quality to it, that when you apply resistance to it, it hardens. And when you don't apply resistance to it, it turns soft.
Okay. I'm trying to
sink into it. I've seen it somewhere in some documentary. So this is something like that. The more we resist, the harder the walls are going to be.
Yes. Yes. I'm trying to think of the substance. Maybe someone out there knows what the substance is. I do know what you mean. Yes.
Yeah. If you just relax, let yourself go, accept the process as it is, feel what you have to feel, and just the more you are feeling yourself, the more you will naturally adapt to the forthcoming circumstances. Yeah. Because your mind has no idea how to do it, but your body and your heart does. So we want to be really calm and relaxed and not in our mind and thinking what's going to happen and what other people are thinking, because then you won't detect the signals.
No.
And you'll be off, and you'll have a hard time.
Okay, do you think this is a good period where people need to seek, not necessarily therapy of people, do you think this is a great time for people to actually seek self-help, self-guide, to work things through? So, okay, in this period, no.
No, because at this point in this year, if you do any kind of therapy that has to do with, for example, dealing with the past, that comes from the mind, it's going to make it worse. We don't want to do anything that has to do with the mind. I'm a psychologist and I'm saying this.
Yes.
So what you want to do is anything that has to do with taking care of yourself. So it's learning how to cook. It's doing yoga, signing up to the gym, doing some kind of physical exercise. It's learning to nurture and take care of yourself. It's learning to choose yourself first, to give yourself what you need. It's all about this. It's all about nurturing and taking care.
Absolutely fascinating. I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree at all. I think if we're working on this level, and that's actually easier, really, isn't it, than actually trying to go back into the past, go and do ahead stuff. When the energy isn't moving on, it's not going to go anywhere. When the energy isn't moving, Mars isn't moving, and when during the Mars retrograde, we've also got the Mercury retrograde. We're going to have that comes up in October, and everyone's going to go, "Oh no, not Mercury retrograde!" But the two retrogrades together, two are very associated with each other, and having those energies going backwards is more this time here. I think to go and really recite and just feel, what is it I need right now?
Yeah, and what we want to do is that energy that is going inwards, we want to go through us, not get stuck in us.
Yeah.
So any kind of movement we do on the physical level and physical plane that helps move the energies inside your body is going to be good. So anything, a massage, dancing, movement, swimming, anything that is too repetitive, it's not going to be good because that will get the energy stuck. So we want to have more fluid movements and water, which will help us to clear all that.
When you clear all this during this particular time, can you achieve happiness?
Define happiness.
Okay, define peace. Okay, peace.
Define peace. Because for me, peace,
brilliant. I love this.
Peace means that you don't feel anything. It's like, oh, I feel peace. Then you're dead. Yeah. You know, you're dissociated. You're not in your body. You're dead, and you're in another plane. Okay, kill yourself. You know. That's peace. Happiness, what do you mean by happiness? It's just like one emotion? This life is about inhabiting all sorts of emotions.
Yes, because we could just be happy in like one area.
No, it's not about being happy, and it's not about having peace. Being happy is like, what about the rest of emotions? Like, oh, I'm happy. This is boring. What do I do now? You know? No. We're here to feel. We have to feel new energies.
So during this time, we can start to feel, with the retrogrades, with this energy area, we can start to feel new energy.
Yes.
Okay.
Always. But that's always.
Yes,
that's always.
That's always.
Our
doesn't
attention
stop.
is going to be very much towards the old, but for the old to clear, the new has to come in.
What is
like
it?
have you had your septic, like when you get your septic tank all clogged up and you get like the tube that comes from your toilet? Yeah. You know, the guy with the lorry that to clear it up comes up and he sticks this hose in the pipe. Yes. And the pipe pours pressured water inside. Yes. And the water clears the poop.
Yep. So there's
in comes the light, out comes the poop.
Out comes the poop. So
it just doesn't come out just because the energy is always flowing, always moving. It doesn't matter if the quality of it seems to be going backwards, but it's always flowing and always moving. So and it's always inviting us to experiment new things.
That's what it's looking at, is to allow us to experiment and find new things.
So the attitude is more not happiness, not peace, but more, oh, wow, oh, cool, ooh, what's this? It's more like a wow thing, a wow factor. I'm open to the new.
This is what I think people are looking for. People are going to look for, say, so during retrogrades, people go into like fear states because they read what they read in a newspaper, they read what they hear from other people. Yes, far too much. And people are going to sense these energies and it's all going to go, people are going to go, oh no, here we go. The energy's going to go, nothing's going to happen. Actually, everything can happen.
Yeah.
We just become open to new.
I was born under a Venus retrograde, a Jupiter retrograde, and I can't remember, I think it was a Pluto retrograde too. Big deal.
I was a Mercury retrograde.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people are born, that doesn't mean they're going backwards all the time.
No.
And nothing's happening in their lives. My life is it change all the time.
One of the things that's interesting when you've got a lot of retrogrades in your charts, the way I observe this, is that you get the opportunity to do things again that didn't work out when you're younger, but they work out twice as good. It's almost like, here's a second opportunity to get something right, and often you can. I think that's an enormous thing, a very big energy we can actually shift there to go forwards. Yeah.
Mm.
Yes. Okay. Right. We're coming up to, it's 11:45 here in Spain. It's about 10:45 in UK.
We have to talk about these opposing signs.
Right. Okay. Let's talk about these opposing signs. So, okay. Guys, let us know your star signs. Just write in and just say, type here, just for instance, if you're a Pisces, you're a Virgo, if you're a Capricorn, if you're a Sag, whatever you are here. And let's just talk about this, because I think this is a big subject matter in itself here, is to talk about being the negative of the opposite sign minus one sign. Shear thickening fluid, SFT. That's what that stuff's called, shear thickening fluid.
So basically, about the opposing signs, while we wait for the people's star signs to come up, because we have a lag of about like 20 seconds from when we talk and we see you guys.
Yes.
So there's a Cancer, Capricorn, opposing Cancer, Aries. Okay. So the idea is, so traditional astrology says that you shouldn't work as your opposing sign. I beg to differ. More evolutionary astrology says you actually have to integrate the opposing sign. I think that is correct, but there's more to it. So for me, every sign keeps an account. At least you have to consider 6 signs for each sign. So if you're an Aries, for example, there's an Aries there.
Yes.
So Aries allegedly is somebody who is like just does whatever they want to do and they just go for it. But that doesn't happen, because normally people's sun sign, they're resonating with the lower version, which is the sign before, which is Pisces. Yep. And the opposite sign of the sign before, which is Virgo.
Yes.
So Pisces and Virgo are going to explain why Aries doesn't do what Aries is supposed to do, which is do whatever you want. Why doesn't Aries do whatever Aries wants? Why does it have so much difficulty to do it? Because Pisces is afraid, or she's afraid, and she has a lot of things in her mind, and she doesn't know what to choose, what to do. Why doesn't she know what to choose and what to do? Virgo, because she feels guilty, because she feels that she has to do everything perfect and isn't allowed to make mistakes.
Brilliant.
So
yes.
This is what hinders Aries.
Yes.
So then when Aries just starts doing, going beyond the idea of perfection and guilt, and just chooses one idea and do what you want, then you can start integrating Libra, which is the opposite sign, which is coming to terms with what you want and what the other person wants. And you can go into Scorpio. An elevated Scorpio would be the talent of Aries, which is the ability to integrate who you really are and connect with your spirit, connect and just do what your spirit wants. And from there, inspire other people to do the same. So it's connect with your superpowers, with your talents, and inspire the superpower and talents of others. And that way you mature into Taurus, which would be the ability to ground and to create things with other people.
It's so interesting, isn't it? When you just talk about traditional signs, you think, I'm an Aries here, but there's so much about it. And totally agree with you. When I was actually studying astrology in London about 2 years ago, this was very, very much this new ethos of understanding more modern astrology, being the opposite sign -1, looking at the 12th house, looking at the 7th house, and how this relates.
And the cross.
And the cross.
In this part, it's a cardinal cross, but I didn't want to
cross.
get into
that. Fantastic. Oh, I love all this. Yes. And how you could work that through. And Priscilla says this is spot on. She really understands this, and which is fantastic. So what we're going to look at here is there's a big subject. I think we need to go and discuss this and put this to the front next session here to discuss this some more open when it's here, so you guys can start talking here. For instance, we got Katrina. Katrina has actually wrote in. She says, I'm a Pisces. So we've always got this one.
For I can answer. There's a Pisces there.
Yes, Pisces. Yeah.
I'm not getting all the messages then. Well, I can answer Capricorn and Pisces quickly. So Capricorn is the sign before Capricorn is Sagittarius.
Yeah.
So Sagittarius explains Capricorn's tendency to be like too totalitarian and too authoritarian, and this has to be this way. That's because it's resonating with a low Sag.
Yes.
And the sign in front of Sag is Gemini. So Gemini explains why Capricorn gets lost in the mind. And is hierarchical, because the most hierarchical of all signs is Gemini, not Capricorn.
Mm-hmm.
And then the way Capricorn evolves is maturing the opposite sign, which is Cancer, which is really taking in emotions and stop hating. Because of Sagittarius, Gemini, the tendency for Cancer to hate somebody and love somebody, so it's a love-hate relationship with life, is very big. So integrating, like understanding your own emotions and taking care of yourself relaxes that tendency to judge other Sagittarius as good and bad Gemini. Okay, and that way it matures into Leo. So when Capricorn turns into Leo, which is high-end Leo, is just do things from your heart, then you flow like an Aquarian. And you're able to contribute that way to the world.
This is brilliant, isn't it? I love the way we could discuss it like this here, because you think you're one sign and yet you're taking on the personalities, you're taking on the resonances, because otherwise it's just too difficult, isn't it? Just to be, I'm just going to be focused as a Capricorn. There are the other energies, there are the other bits here where you need to come out and focus through your heart and just stop judging and stop trying to be perfect, or stop trying to be hard on yourself.
Exactly.
Resonate through your heart, especially with Capricorn.
For example, Pisces has a tendency to, it comes from Aquarius. So Pisces downside is Aquarius Leo. It's from Aquarius, it's just the tendency to look at the past and to look at others and see what others, what do I have to clear up? What do I have to clean? Okay. Yes. So when Pisces cleans up too much energetically, emotionally from other people, what happens? Leo, Pisces does something to bring people's attention onto them. So they I don't know, they throw a tantrum, they make noise, they do something that draws everybody's attention to them, so everybody sees them. Why? Because if they suck up so much, it's like if they go off into the ethers, into those low energy clouds that we were talking about before, and by other people looking at them, they have a sense like it's, oh, I need some people to bring me down. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what Pisces has to do is overcome that need by truly connecting with their heart, higher end Leo, and that way they can integrate Virgo, which is presence, bringing themselves down by connecting to their heart. And that way they go on to Libra, which is, this is about what you give to others, not what others give to you. And then Pisces can turn into Aries, which is, Pisces' talent is being a coordinator of people, because Pisces is able to see everybody's need, not what the need of, not the need of in the sense of picking up the garbage, but the need of like, what can everybody do? How can everybody coordinate? So Pisces is a wonderful coordinator. And the way Pisces works in the highest version is through action, Aries.
Yes.
So Pisces gets people moving. Come on, guys, you do this, you do that. Let's go that way. That's Pisces talent.
I think that's a brilliant observation.
And normally people don't talk about that. And it's like so obvious.
No, I know it's a humor thing sometimes to think of Pisces that they're all dreamy heads and they're all off somewhere. No, not really. Not really.
But that's when they're looking at the past. That's when they're lost in Aquarius.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So isn't it interesting how you relate to the different signs at the opposites, either side, three either side, and work on those energies there to see where they can go and where they can build their lives. Okay, we've got Gillian. She's a Gemini Cancer cusp. Ooh. Now, tell me what you think here. In my realm here, if you're a Gemini, you're a Gemini. If you're a Cancer, you're a Cancer. You still think that if you're on the cusp, you're bringing in the Cancer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like if you're in the cusp, you're really trying to really, you're very much resonating with the sign before, but the more you are next to the next house or cusp or sign, the more you are like you've already done all this stuff.
So you're at the end of your sun's already done a journey through that. So when it's at the start of a sign, you're in your high spirit of that sign. At the end of it, I've done it. I'm coming to the end of it. I'm going to move on. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think through past lives then that if, for instance, Gillian's a Gemini Cancer cusp, that in past lives she was possibly a Gemini in the earlier stages of Gemini? Do you think the symbology works that way? The possibility, theosophy.
It could be. It could be. It could
Okay.
be. It'd be
Yes.
interesting to study the whole chart.
Yes, it would be. Yes. There you go, Gillian. Just to keep you thinking now. You'll be there thinking, this is interesting. Okay, so Gemini Cancer cusp. So there we are. We've got the opposite sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius there, we've got the philosopher that wants to look forwards and go and leap off into the future. But you've also...
The sign before?
Yes. But yes, you've also got Scorpio, the sign before. The sign before, looking into the depth of things, looking into, am I feeling safe? Is everything secure?
No, that would be as the higher end, but the lower end would be the intent to control from the mind.
Yes. So being in the negative of the mind. Yes, totally. Okay. Yes, and then for the positive of this here, to then come back and look at Gemini Cancer, but to take on the Cancer, and that's interesting here, control through the mind. Yet Cancer, in a sense, can be a very controlling sign.
When it resonates low.
Yes.
When it resonates like a Gemini. So
Yes.
the thing is, the idea for when Gemini opens up to Cancer, it's actually because it gets the high end of Capricorn, which is I'm responsible and conscious of myself, and that allows me to stop being so totalitarian and open up to people's differences and open my heart to everybody. That would be Cancer high end.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Open my heart up to everybody. Yes.
So I accept the differences. That's
Yes.
what Gemini has to learn.
Jill, I hope that helps. Helps them. Sure it does. Right, guys, we've practically come to the end of the show. I was looking for Elodie. I don't think I've seen her yet. She hasn't on. She popped in a question, but if she's new, I don't think Elodie is there. So, right, okay. Anything? Okay, so coming up through this week, before we go to next week, anything you'd like to say to people just to help them through this week? What astrologically? We just had a full moon. Full moon, which is, well, actually it's today, isn't it? Second, yes.
Today, it's at 2 p.m.
2 p.m.
something.
today. So it's just going to hit 2 p.m. today. This full moon, what could we harness from this full moon that's going to help us to perhaps see things to help us out here?
Well, it's a Piscean full moon, so it's all about letting go. And letting go without trying to finish things up and without trying to clear things and without trying to excuse things, and just let go. If something is sold, if there's nothing, like if you got a box with stuff that you haven't seen in 5 years and you don't even know what's there, don't open the box, just throw it away.
I'll tell you
It's
what,
basically this idea. There's nothing
Yes.
for you there anymore.
Yeah.
So let go without looking at what it is.
I think there's a fascinating explanation of that. Yep, I think that's a pretty good one. Right, Deborah says here, Deborah the producer says, thank you for joining us this morning. Cafe Clairvoyance back on Sunday. It's been a very interesting morning talking about guilt, about talking about demons, and about talking about to be careful not to become the opposite sign or the negative of the opposite sign before the opposite sign. Yes. So, guys, hope that helped you out this morning. And we'll be talking about different subject matter coming on next week. And we'll be letting you know about that as the week progresses. In the meantime, though, have a fantastic time. Thank you very, very much for joining me again, Guiomar. Have a good week. And catch up soon. And yes, warm wishes to everyone over there in Javier. And you guys out there, thank you for watching. Have a great day yourselves. In the meantime, take care. Warm wishes.
Bye.
Burger, that's it. Burger and love and a burger. It's all the same. It's all the same. Take care. Bye-bye. Mwah.